Hello children, welcome to today's class. Hope you all are safe, healthy and happy at home and are enjoying learning through this medium. Today I'll be dealing with the writing skills. I have told you in the previous classes also that in the writing section this year you have 2 questions, each carry 10 marks. The first question is related to formal letters on any given situation. And we have already dealt with this topic, formal letters, and in the future classes also we will be practicing some more formal letters. And the second type of question for you in the writing section is analytical paragraph. Analytical paragraph based on map, chart, report, line graphs, etc., which again carries 10 marks. Both your formal letters and your analytical paragraph carries a word limit of 150 to 200 words. Today let's try to understand what are analytical paragraph. Though you might have learned writing small paragraphs right from the primary and upper primary classes on various topics, and there are different types of paragraphs. In class 9th, you had learnt descriptive paragraphs, how to describe a person, place or any event. Now you have analytical paragraph. Dear children, let's try to understand what are analytical paragraphs and what are the steps or points you need to keep in mind while writing paragraphs which are based on maps, charts or any kind of data interpretation. Let's try to understand what is an analytical paragraph. Children, look at this word carefully. Analytical comes from the word analysis, right? In order to understand how to write an analytical paragraph, you need to understand what does this word means. This means detailed explanation, or you can also say, careful examining carefully also. Let me give an example for you to understand this analysis. For example, you had scored 90% marks in the beginning of the session, that is the first examination. And you were very happy and you tried to understand, okay, you had worked hard, so you scored good marks. In the next examination, your marks fall down to 70%, right? And you become upset. Now what do? You try to understand, and maybe your teachers, your parents, they try to tell you, you try to analyze where you have lagged behind. What were the shortcomings due to which you have come down from 90% to 70%. So you try to analyze, isn't it, that how much time I devoted to my studies, did I revise properly, did I refer to various sources of learning, did I write and practice, or did I distract myself from my studies and devoted my attention to something else, maybe to some of the gadgets, or maybe I spent more time playing with my friends. So you try to analyze in detail why you did not score good marks this time than the first time, right? So this is called analysis, trying to understand in detail, trying to look at things from every angle, from different points of reference. So I hope the term analysis is clear to you. So analytical is again, you can say, careful examination to understand or explain. Right? Now I told you that analytical paragraph, this type of question is also known as data interpretation. Right? Data interpretation, and I told you, is based on map, chart, report, or line graph, bar graph, histogram, etc. Right? You might have done questions related to maps, charts, and line graphs in your maths and also your social science, especially in geography, where information is given to you or data is given to you in the form of line graph or histogram or bar graph. It could be related to the climatic conditions, about the population of different states, right? For example, map. You might be definitely watching news regularly these days as you get a lot of time, and you must make it a habit to watch news. As I had told you, in order to have a good language command, you need to listen a lot. So once you listen to the news, you are also updating yourself with what is happening around the world and also learning a lot. Because these days in the news, let me give you an example. These days, when you are watching the news, you see that the various channels talk about the COVID-19 situation in the country, right? What is happening? You know, what are the various measures being taken? What is happening? What is the health ministry doing? Right? And what are the various non-governmental organizations doing? How are people coming forward about the corona frontline workers? And you might have also watched in the news, many channels, they try to give you the updates, the data related to COVID-19. For example, they show you the map and they show the affected areas, COVID-19 pandemic affected areas. So when you look at the map, they should show you the map, and they with different colors they denote the states. These are the number of cases there, and these are the number of cases you know, they have cured from this disease, and these are the number of deaths, right? These are the different facts being given to you in the form of map or sometimes in the form of graph, right? And when you look at that map, you will be able to analyze, okay, now this disease in India has spread to so many states. And what are the different zones, you know, the red zone, the green zone, and the orange zone. So then when you look at this map, you are able to analyze the facts, and you are able to analyze, you are able to compare the different states, right? So I hope you understand how you are supposed to analyze the facts, right? So the question which is related to the interpretation of data it consists of comparison and also analysis, right? When information or facts are given to you in the form of chart, report, line graph or map, you look at the facts, and these facts could be visual also, and it could also be sometimes verbal cues. Because these are line graph, map, bar graph and histogram, pie chart, right? I know you're familiar with pie charts. So all of them are visual stimulus of the, or you can say depicted data, right? So, with the help of these visual stimulus, what you try to do? You try to compare. Normally, these line graph, bar graph, pie charts all are used to compare different states. Even in your social science regarding poverty, okay, and regarding the type of loans, the private sector and the government sector. So it's shown in the form of histogram or bar charts or pie charts. So that is why it will be easy for you, because you do this in your social science also and also in your maths. So it will be easy for you to look at these facts, compare them, right? And then analyze them, try to understand the facts and then arrive at conclusions. So this is how you write an analytical paragraph. So when you try to analyze, you also try to understand its significance and its implications. Right? Now implications means how it is practical for us in our life, whatever information has been given. And these information which are given to you in the form of various kinds of visual stimulus, they are collected, through various sources. It could be door-to-door survey, isn't it? Conducting surveys online. So various methods are used to collect this information. And therefore, whatever information is given to you, when you try to analyze them, then you also try to understand its significance or importance. Why it is important for us to understand this situation or this comparison or these facts. Why it is important for us to know about it. And then its implications. Once you try to analyze, you try to understand, then you also try to understand how it is practical for us. Isn't it? How it is practically demonstrated in our day-to-day life. Is it possible for us to do so in a particular situation? Or whether it will be useful for us or not. Whether we will be able to do it in our life or not. So the practical implications. So once you try to do this, and then finally what do you do while writing the passage? You arrive at the conclusion. Okay. Now let's see. So dear children, let us now try to understand the format and the various steps of writing an analytical paragraph. Now the format is nothing but, as you do for all the other paragraph, you need to write the heading. Once you look at the information given to you in the form of facts, in the form of visual stimulus, the bar graph or the chart or the report, okay, you will be able to understand or find out what should be the heading of the paragraph, right? So the format is you write the heading and then you start writing. Of course, whenever you write any paragraph, the beginning has to be very impressive. So what are the different types of sentences you use while writing the paragraph? Topic sentence, then supporting sentence, concluding sentence, and the fourth one is transitional sentence. Okay, now let's try to look at each one of them. Topic sentence. The topic sentence is related to the topic of the paragraph, whatever would be the topic. So maybe the initial first line and the second line could reveal the topic, could talk about the topic. For example, if you have been given with some information regarding the facts about the girl child education in India. So your topic will be girl child education, right? So in the first or second line, maybe girls in the modern world walk shoulder to shoulder with boys and are doing really well in the examinations, and in some fields even better than the boys, and therefore girl child education has become very important in today's society, right? So in the first and second line, you're talking about the topic. Whatever is your topic, you mention about that in the first and second line. Sometimes, to make your paragraph more creative, you could also begin with a quote related to the topic. Because these days, lots of books are available on quotes of different leaders on various topics. Topics like education, environment, right? So you have to have a good collection of quotes on different topics. So you could also begin your paragraph with a quote which talks about the topic sentence. Then supporting sentence. Once you begin the paragraph with 1 or 2 sentences, and then you need to add more sentences to support your topic. Suppose if you are talking about girl child education, the facts are given in which states, in which year, what were the number of dropouts of girl children, or what were the attendance of girl children in a particular year in a particular area. So you try to study those facts, and then you need to go ahead with lot of sentences related to the topic. You try to analyze, and then you start talking about education. Maybe you compare, okay, according to the recent study, we understand that the dropouts in this area has reduced from this number to this number, so which is really a good sign. And you can talk about the government policies for the education, you can talk about the right to education, you can talk about the various facilities being provided to educate the girl children. And then you can also talk about some challenges which is faced in educating a girl child even today. That is, of course, a challenge. So you can talk about all the challenges, you can talk about the plus points of educating a girl child. So you can add more points after the topic sentence. Then comes the concluding sentence. As I told you in the beginning, you try to compare the facts, and then you try to analyze, and then you arrive at conclusions, right? So finally, we have come to the conclusion that, based on these facts, in future, the education is going to improve in these areas, and because of the various policies of the government, and girl child will get more opportunities, and they will be provided with more infrastructure and opportunities in every field. So you can conclude by saying that, or maybe again one quote or slogan in the end related to the topic. So the topic comes in the beginning also, and also while you are concluding. And here I have used one more word, that is transitional sentence. Now what is the meaning of transitional? Transitional sentences are those sentences which connect the different paragraphs. They maintain the connectivity. For example, why you need to use transitional sentence? Like, let me give you some examples of transitional words. Moreover, okay, apart from this, instead of, right, in addition to this. So connecting the sentences or the paragraphs. Why it is important to use transitional words or sentences is, there should be some connectivity in the paragraph right from the beginning till the end. It shouldn't happen that you began the paragraph with one topic sentence, and then in between you went somewhere else, and then again while you're concluding, you have written something else, and there is no connectivity between different paragraphs, then you will be losing your marks. So you should be focused towards your writing, and you should learn to use connecting words, transitional words, which will connect the different paragraphs and keep the whole paragraph connected or focused to the topic. Now, dear children, I hope you have understood what is an analytical paragraph and what points are you're supposed to remember while you're going to write an analytical paragraph. So now let's look at a sample paragraph and learn how to write an effective paragraph, how to analyze, how to compare, how to come to conclusions while writing this paragraph. Analytical paragraph based on map, chart, report or line graph that you have to write within 150 to 200 words. Now, let's look at this question which is there on your screen. Study the chart given below, which is the result of the survey conducted in the public schools and government schools of Vadodara. This depicts the types of activities the teenagers, that is from the age group of 13 to 19 years, are involved during their leisure time. Write a paragraph in about 150 to 200 words by interpreting the given data. Now children, look at this chart very carefully. You might have seen this kind of graphs in your maths subject and also in your social science subject. So what does this talk about? It talks about the way teenagers, that is the children of 13 to 19 years, spend their leisure time. Leisure time means when they are free, what do they do? Right? So a survey was conducted, and according to the recent study, these facts have been given in the form of a chart. And it talks about two schools, the government school and the private school. Okay, so how much time or what do the students of private school do during their leisure time, and what do the children of government school do during their leisure time? How do they spend their time? So you can see in the graph there, watching TV, net surfing, cell phone and friends. Okay, and you can see there on the right hand side both the schools, the different colors. The public school or the private school has been represented in blue color and the government school in red color. So what will you do the moment you look at this visual clue? You will try to analyze it first before you start writing. You will try to analyze. Now how will you try to analyze that? You will take the first point, watching TV, right? So which teenagers watch TV more? You see that it is the children of government school. So that is clear to you. Now the children of government school watch TV during their leisure time, whereas the students of public school or the private school, they don't watch that much TV during their leisure period. Now come to the next point, net surf. And you see the difference. Okay? The students of private school, it has gone to nearly 50%, right? Most of them, they spend their time surfing on the net. And look at the children of government school. You know, very few of them spend time surfing on the net. Then cell phone, again, if you look at this fact, most of the children of the private school, they spend more time on cell phones than the government children. So here you are also trying to compare the private school and the government school. So you are trying to analyze, you are trying to compare. Okay, and now look at the last one, friends. The children of government school, they spend their leisure time talking to their friends. Whereas the children of private school, they don't spend much time talking to their friends during their leisure periods. So now you got an idea, right? You can also look at the percentage, what percentage it is given there. If you try to analyze what percentage of government school children spend in watching TV, what percentage of children of private schools spend in on surfing the net. Okay, so you get an idea by analyzing the fact and comparing the situations also. Okay, now let's move to the paragraph. Now, what is the first thing you have to do? You have to give a heading to the paragraph. The heading would be teenagers and leisure time. Now, I have written this paragraph for you in a very simple language, and also try to give a proper beginning, to add more supporting sentence, and also to conclude the paragraph in a proper way, and also try to use some transitional words. So the 4 type of sentences we had discussed. Now look at the screen. We are the citizens of modern technological world, and our life has become mechanical as we are more and more attached and addicted to the modern gadgets. The teenagers are the group who are attracted the most towards gadgets like TV, computers, mobile phones, etc. So in the beginning, or maybe the first 2 sentences, we have tried to bring in the topic. That is the attraction of the teenagers towards modern gadgets. Now, we all know that every technology has its own advantages and disadvantages. Now, while we tried to compare, we tried to analyze, we got certain understanding. We tried to, understand the facts in a detailed manner. So, we feel that every technology has got its own advantages and disadvantages, and the more we depend on them, our dependence on technology and our modern lifestyle has made us disease prone. We know that teenagers, now even teenagers are suffering from diseases like depression, diabetes, heart problems, obesity, cancer, etc. If we try to analyze the recent survey conducted on some 2,000 students of 2 leading schools, one government and the other a public school in Vadodara, we find that the students of public schools spend more of their leisure time in net surfing and talking on cell phones, whereas the student of government schools spend more time watching TV and talking to their friends. It has also been observed that when students spend more and more time on mobile phones and internet, they are distracted from their studies, from their goals, and waste all their time and energy in doing destructive things. Many a times, many teenagers find themselves in the web of cyber crimes. Youth are the most important resource of any nation, on whose shoulders lies the responsibility of building a strong and progressive society. Therefore, the teenagers must be provided proper guidance and must be nurtured with proper values so that they are able to use technology for their own benefits and the development of the nation. I hope you understood through this example how you need to write an analytical paragraph. What you are supposed to do the moment you look at the question paper or you look at the facts provided to you in the form of charts or maps, reports or bar graph, etc. The first thing you will do is you will try to analyze, and then you will try to compare, and then try to understand the facts in detail, and slowly begin writing the paragraph after writing the heading, and then you move to the supporting sentences and you go in detail about the fact given there, what will happen if children spend more time on the gadgets like phones or the internet. And then you also try to understand its implications. Right, like we did here. What is going to happen? Teenagers are going to suffer from various diseases, And then how do we conclude? You have to bring the topic also in the concluding point. Like they need to be nurtured properly, they need to be brought up with values, and they should know, how they have to use the gadgets, what should be their limits, and they need proper guidance and support so that they move in the positive direction, or they use these gadgets for constructive purpose. So I hope you will be utilizing this opportunity and try to look at some of the questions, like even if you have in your social science, you can look into your geography book where you have these kinds of data. You can also look at your maths textbook, and I think in your geography textbook and in your civics textbook also you can find these kinds of pie charts and histogram and bar graph. So you can look at that and you can practice in your notebook, writing paragraph on various topics related to the facts. In the next class, we will be practicing some more questions of this type, that is based on interpreting the data, so that your writing skills also improve and you learn to write in a creative and better manner. Until then, stay safe, stay at home, stay happy.